first at basic intersections and increasing and decreasing intervals. Now this is actually a very easy concept, but it's easily confused. So we want to kind of take this and break it into a few steps that you can take that'll make this a pretty easy concept. Number one, you want to identify any minimum or maximum points in your pieces in your graph. Now I've shown you a cubic equation. This is the graph of x cubed minus 3x plus 2. This just gives you a really good picture. So it goes up, it gets to that high point, then it turns, it comes back down, it stops, and then it turns back up and goes on forever. What we want to do is we want to identify these points, and really what's important is just the x values for each of these points. Every time it turns directions, you can see here it goes up, 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 up till it stops, and then it goes down, 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 and then it stops, and it goes back up again. And what's important is along the x-axis, where's that happening? I want to be able to tell you, oh, well, it goes up until this point, then it goes down into the next point, and then it goes up again. And so we do that by identifying ranges or intervals based on the x variable or x coordinate in my points. So we determine if the graph is going up or down, and we always want to read this from left to right. Just like you read a book, you're going to look at the graph. If you want to imagine if you're walking along the curve, then you can identify with going up and going down just like you would naturally walk up a hill and down a hill. What we want to do is we want to identify where it's going up, down, and then back up again in this particular graph. And not all graphs are going to be cubic. If you were to look at a line could go up all the time or down all the time. We're going to look at a parabola in a little bit, and it's going to have two sections. It's going to go up, and then it's going to go down. And so we want to write our x coordinates for these minimum and maximum. In this case, we're going to be dealing with a -1 here and a +1 in this point. Now notice it goes off to infinity as it goes up here, and then it goes down to -infinity as it comes down on this side. So we'll also be using those as well. I've kind of illustrated that by using this graph at the bottom. Now you can see at the bottom, what I did was I used my x coordinates to write the interval that increases or decreases. So I've broken it up into its three sections. You can see in the yellow it's going up until it gets to that point, which is the point on the x-axis -1. And then it goes down, the blue section is down until it hits +1 on the on the next part on the x-axis. And then from that point on, so from 1 on, it's going to be going up. And this is how you write the intervals. Now you can see here my interval for increasing, I just wrote the word up, but the interval for increasing is from -infinity, comma, -1. So it's telling me along the x-axis, if I look at the graph that kind of marks that off, and I put those in colors for you, it's going to be going up. So if I were walking along this part, I would be increasing until I got to the top of the hill, and I wouldn't be going up anymore. So that's the end of the increasing part. But after this, I'd be going down the hill until I hit the bottom of the next one, which happens at the point 1. Now these are not coordinates; these are intervals. We write intervals. Remember, if it's included, we write the parentheses. If it's not included, we put a bracket. Well, for increasing and decreasing intervals, you're always going to be using parentheses. Just make a note of that. Always use parentheses when it's increasing and decreasing. You can see here from -1 to +1, here to here. So from this x coordinate to this x coordinate, I'm going down. From the +1 all the way over, I'm going to be going up again. So we have the increasing interval from 1 to +infinity. And really that's all there is to increasing and decreasing. It's a pretty basic concept.